Do you know what's new for nurses? What about dementia and caregiving? Are you looking to grow as a leader? And what are the current healthcare leaders doing for you? Welcome to the Angie Graham Podcast. Whenever we make a big move, what stays and what goes can bring a lot of stress to a person and their family, especially when that person or family member is moving to senior care. How can we downsize? Welcome to the Angie Graham Podcast, our first episode of 2026. And back again, our first ever guest and the hoarding hero, the maestro of the mess, the overload of the overfilled, and the Duke of decluttering, Matt Paxton. Welcome, Matt.
Yeah. The maestro of the mess. I love it.
And also the star of the new Discovery show, Filthy Fortunes. Since we've last been together, you've launched your new show. We love it.
Thank you. I'm loving doing it. I'm filming season 2 right now. We're having a blast.
Are ya? Well, it's a great show. We, of course, tuned in right away as soon as we got the news. And when we saw you last year, you said, I have something exciting coming up. And it wasn't too long after that the show got announced. So we were excited to see it.
I had filmed season 1, but I wasn't allowed to tell anybody. And I didn't want to jinx it. And so I just kept my mouth shut. And so it's weird on TV. You film something and then you wait like a year before the world gets to see it.
And to keep the secret like that.
And I'm not a secret teller. You know that. I mean, I know you well enough to know. I want to tell the world everything immediately. But it was received very well, and to the point where the network ordered. They doubled it, ordered 16. And so now we're going around the country helping families. And it's really cool that we get to put, positive aging families on TV.
Well, I think what I really love about this show is that sometimes as families, we go into our loved one's space, and especially when they've been collectors of things. And as children, you see just a big mess. And you don't always think about the treasures that may be within that mess. Or maybe there's maybe some treasures, but a lot of families don't even know where to begin or how to even get to it.
To get started. And that's it. People say, I know my dad said there's something valuable under the porch. They said there's something here. And they just don't know. And, I've been cleaning houses, for 25 years now. And a lot of times I do it on TV. A lot of times, I'm able to focus on my book, but I'm really back to just cleaning again. And this TV show they just put a camera on us. And so it's really nice. Like and this is my original crew. The guys you see on the TV show are guys that have worked for me for, Caitlin's worked for me for 15 years. And Chris, the big guy with dreads, he used to literally sell me Slurpees at 7-Eleven. This guy's been working for me for 15 years, and it's really fun to see like my buddies, my crew, and then we get in with these families, and the stuff we're finding is just incredible. And the family oftentimes doesn't know what we're going to find. And that's really fun.
And to be on the road with your team too, that has to be fun. You've established your team and.
We didn't even have kids when I started traveling with these guys, and we were laughing this last weekend. I just got back from filming, and I had my 19-year-old stepdaughter on the road with me for 10 days. She was working on the crew and helping with social media, and I got to go to New York City with my daughter and all my buddies, and it was like such a joy. So it's almost come full circle. Now we've got our kids and grandkids are showing up to set. We're helping these families, and it's just a lot more fun. We're not kids anymore. And when you're a kid, and we actually can go to a nice dinner and relax, and have fun, and know that we can all eat and we can all pay the bill. It's kind of nice. So yeah, it's been a full circle relationship. It's just awesome. Love doing it.
So give me 3 tips of family. The scenario would be mom has to go into assisted living, and the house is full of her precious, 80 years of collections. Where does the family even begin to start to dig into it?
Well, okay. So I'll say this is, and by the way, my new business, Clutter Cleaner, we've got 12 locations around the country helping families do this every week. So this is what we're doing quite a bit. Believe it or not, for me, it's about the mindset first. And so I always say, actually decide where you're going first. the biggest mistake I've seen families do is they try to start sorting, and they try to make decisions on stuff, but they don't know where they're going. And it's kind of like packing for a vacation, but you don't know if you're going to the beach or you're going skiing. You've gotta know where you're going. And then I always have everybody create their legacy list. The legacy list, that's step number 2. And there's a reason to this. Step number 1, you know where you're going, you know what space you have. Right? It also gives clarity to the family because we're all in the same. We always say we all have the same finish line. If we know where we're going, we know what race we're running. So number 1, pick where you're going, and you have a deadline, which really helps because you know when you're moving in. Number 2, create your legacy list. A legacy list is just a list of the top 5 items that matter most in your family. They might be, like your dad's ring, or they might be a pie plate your mom made, your mom had, or I have my great grandma's bowl, right? That's in my legacy list. I love it. It's our taco bowl now, right? It's taco meat for Taco Tuesdays. But for me growing up, my grandma would make dough in it. And then my great grandma did it for my mom. And so like you get these stories. And what that does is by creating the legacy list, you list them in 5 items. And that allows you to really prioritize what stories and which people matter most in your family. And the reason you're doing this in this order is by step 3, you're gonna really make the decisions on exactly what your must-haves. What do you take? What are you taking with you? Because you're taking your bed. Actually, maybe not. I actually argue in senior living, like when you downsize, it's the perfect time to get rid of your bed, get a new bed, and get a new TV. Because oftentimes it's going to cost as much for me to move that stuff as it would to buy a new one. And like a lot of times, grandma's got a mattress from like 1965. And it's like, hey, maybe this is why you can't walk. Like let's do this. let's try a new bed. And honestly, and then TV as well. It's like, hey, this massive box TV that you've had, that literally, switches with the knob, like maybe it's time to upgrade if you're still going to watch. And so we try to do that. But like, it's really deciding the must have, like that couch that you want to keep. And like we had a lady the other day that she insisted on taking her piano. And we're like, great, that's fine, but you have X amount of space. And so really picking your must haves. And then what that leaves you with is it leaves you where you're going. And it leaves you with why you're keeping what you're keeping. And now it keeps you, okay, my must-haves. Now, everything else is a maybe. Okay? So in those first 3 steps, you now know where you're going, what you got to have, and the really most important people. And now you're left with, okay, what am I, the other 95% of the house, do I really need it? Do I really want it? Do my kids want it? What am I going to do? Do I sell it? Do I donate it? And that's when the business really gets hard. That's when it's, okay, what am I actually going to do with the other 95% that I don't have to have?
How does a family navigate where would they start if they think some things may be of value, but they're not really sure? Who would they possibly search out to just get a feel for, is it just a clean out, or are there things of value there that need to be sold?
Yeah.
Like you do in your in your new TV show.
We do it on a TV show. We do it in our Clutter Cleaner with our families all the time. And by the way, any family that hires us or any family that you see me doing, what I do on TV, you could do this yourself. Right? You can absolutely do it yourself. The quickest place to do it is to actually go on Google Lens. You go on your Google and you hit the lens thing and you take a picture of the item and you see how much it's worth. Best example I've ever given is nobody wanted Grandpa's grandfather clock. Nobody wanted the grandfather. This is a family we did a couple of years ago. Nobody wanted the grandfather clock. So we put it on auction. We put it for sale at auction because it was very clear. Nobody wanted it. Well, immediately, as soon as we put it up for auction, this thing, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, the auction started going really high. And now all of a sudden everybody wants the clock because they know it's worth money. So did they really want grandfather's clock, or they just wanted the money, right? So I think a lot of families want to look to see what things are worth before they decide what they're doing with it. And that's fine. You can look on Google Lens. You can look on EBTH is a great website, everything but the house, ebth.com. You can look, there's a great resource called WorthPoint, WROTHPOINT, WorthPoint. It's a great access where you can actually see what things are sold for. If you go on eBay, let me stress this, if you go on eBay, don't look for what it's listed for, look for what it's sold for. And you're going to see all the different options. What we've found is I'm literally telling you how to do what we do. I give it away all the time because what happens is when you have thousands of items and you only have a long holiday weekend, it takes too much time to go through it. And so we usually sell a lot of stuff at auction. We take things online at auction. I don't do local regionalized auctions because then really people are just buying the same stuff they already have. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I like to have things online because oftentimes, I mean, like we had I was doing a job a couple months ago, and we had a barn in Tennessee, and this barn was falling apart, but it was 125-year-old cherry wood and from cherry trees. And this lady, she's like, well, I guess just tear it down. I'm like, no, I can sell this wood in California for a lot of money. But everybody in that town in rural Tennessee, all their barns were made of this wood. So they were
Yeah.
like, I'll give you $1 a foot. And I'm like, I can sell that thing for $200 a square foot, in another state. And so that's a great example where a lot of times we love selling stuff online because somebody in California will buy something that is not that exciting in Tennessee. And also, reversed. I mean, it's a lot of times things are very regional. And so for me, I love putting things online because that lets you know right away, is there a market or not?
So does Clutter Cleaners, do they have a specific website that they use that's part of your business model?
We use if you go to cluttercleaner.com, it's cluttercleaner.com is the service. What we do is we're actually the ones that sort through everything, help you clean it all out. We're really a home concierge cleanout. So we'll help you move grandma into senior living, then we'll clean the whole house up. Everything from getting rid of the paint, scanning all the paperwork, all the bank statements that we find. I mean, all the stuff that you don't have time to do, cleaning the house out, shipping the things to family members that want to keep it, taking the things that are donated away, taking all the trash away, and then selling all the things. Now, what we don't do is we don't believe that all items should be sold on one website. A lot of times there's like your furniture. Your couch, believe it or not, should not be sold on a fancy auction website. It needs to be sold on Facebook Marketplace. And by the way, the price is $200. That's what your couch is going to sell for. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't care if you spend $8,000 on it. I don't care if you spend $800 on it. That couch is going to sell on Facebook Marketplace for $200. So go ahead and just list it for $300. The person's going to say, I'll give you $200. And you say, okay. I would do this every single day. We see it everywhere. The bigger items that would be too expensive to ship, they're going to sell locally on Facebook Marketplace. Okay. Now, you get into the smaller items, we use EBTH, everything but the house, EBTH.com. We use BidRush, BidRush, BidRush.com. Sometimes I'll use, there's a bunch of different apps. I've forgotten the name of half of them, but we really it depends on the item, is what I'll say. And so we use all the different ones that will maximize it. Like coins, we go to very specific coin sites because silver and gold have never been higher. Yeah. And I mean, silver and gold, you'll see that a lot on season 2 of Filthy Fortunes. I mean, a lot of houses we just didn't find much, but then we found I actually found a jar of gold coins in the basement, and it ended up being worth $250,000.
Oh.
And the family had no clue how they were even going to pay us. Like, we thought we were going to get paid when the house sold. And the lady was like, well, gosh, what do I do here? And I was like, well, and it was a big jar, ball jar full of gold coins. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, if you give me 10 of those, we're even. She's like, really? And I was like, well, I'm kidding. I can't take the gold. I said, you'd be foolish to. I said, it's only going to go up more. And but they were shocked at like how much money we were able to find in that basement. And you just be amazed what we find in there. But for us, it's really finding the right, and that's why we have franchises. So we have local, very local franchisees that know the marketplace in their area.
If some people think, like, I know that there's some items that used to be of value that may not be of a value. The market has changed very much in even the last 10 years, but for sure the last 20 years. Example will be, now I'll drive down the road and I see a pipe organ on the side of the road. Yeah, I remember years ago, you probably do too, where you could still get big money for those. And now people they're giving them away.
Yeah. Player pianos, pipe organs, even upright pianos. I got to give them away because I'm going to charge $200 to haul it away.
China. What about families' China?
Room. So let's talk about the dining room. The dining room is the biggest example of this situation. And it's important to remember what the dining room represented. So for me, my generation, I don't even have a dining room. I have 9 people in my family. We do not have a dining room. It's a music room for us. And we turned it into a music room and an office because that was more realistic for our space. My mom was devastated that we did not want her dining room set. We didn't want the dining room table. We didn't want the dining room chairs. We didn't want the china hutch. And I definitely didn't need the china. Because I still have china from my first marriage, which we never used, by the way. In the 10 years we were married, my ex-wife and I never used our china. And when we got divorced, we had a very amicable, very positive separation, and we're still good friends today. But the one thing we were unified on was neither one of us wanted the china. Right? I mean, like, it's just not a part of our life anymore. And it's really, really hard. And so examples of where I tell families now, they get really upset. But like, I've had families, they all loved grandma's china, but not everybody wants to keep it. And so like I've seen families break it up and everybody keeps one setting and they frame it. I had one family, for 12 people, they framed a full setting of grandma's china. They put it in a shadow box and everybody got one setting for their home. They hung it in their new modern dining room. I thought that was really cool. I've seen families cut the porcelain up and actually make jewelry out of it. So every daughter and every granddaughter got a necklace. I thought that was really cool. There's a really cool company called the Brooklyn Tea Company. Brooklyn Tea Company does the things they do with grandma's china to really, it's more about, it's called upcycling, but they're keeping the memory of grandma alive, because what really matters about these dining rooms is it's where our family's created, right? For our generation, for you and me, our generation, we would go and have dinner on Sundays, right? And we'd go to church and we'd come home afterwards and eat. And that dining room is really a place where family community happens. Well, now that happens when you're going to the games, you're going to the beach, you're going to a football game, you're going to the lake, you're going wherever you're going. Right? And so it's not that we don't have family time, we just have it somewhere else. And so, this really always comes up to like, gosh, nobody wants my stuff. It's not that nobody wants your stuff. We just don't want that stuff. I don't need dining room anymore. I want grandma's purse. I want grandma's fur coat. I want grandma's Poochie dress. Like, there's all these different things. I want her gold necklace. I want her watch. Like, people still want to celebrate the loved one. They just don't need the dining room to do it. And so we really encourage you to do more upcycling issues. The one I love the most now is I've seen families break up all the china. They shatter all the china and then someone makes a vase out of it. So a mosaic vase. And so every kid gets a mosaic vase where they put flowers in it. Grandma doesn't love that one because you're breaking up the china, but it's a good way to upcycle it and reuse it. And then, believe it or not, a lot, half our clients are moving grandma into assisted living or senior living. The other half is we're just doing an estate clean out. Everyone's passed away. That top generation's passed away. And we're cleaning the house out for everyone else. A lot of times in those situations, we just donate the china to an art studio, and people will break it up and use it as mosaic. And what I'll say is, there's a store called Replacements in North Carolina, and people say, well, I'll just sell all my china to Replacements. Replacements is a massive, like almost 1 million square foot facility where they store all this old china and they sell it. And they called us and they said, we're good. We don't need any more china. Like, we're full. Like, no thanks. So like the one place you would go to buy replacement china, people, they don't even want it anymore. So I mean, it's just a reality of it's not that nobody loves you. It's not that no one enjoyed their time in the living room or the dining room. They just don't need china to celebrate you. They can celebrate your love and your family in a different way. And it's often, I'll be honest, it's often in grandma's closet. I mean, the trends that I've seen over the last 30 years as I've been doing this, the dining room I could still get rid of. It was still a big deal when I started, and now nobody wants it. But the reverse of that was grandma's fur coat. Nobody wanted to touch grandma's fur coat when I started. And now all the granddaughters want grandma's fur coat. And they want all of grandma's dresses from when she was a teenager. And what I'll tell you is, if you don't think your kids want your stuff, bring your granddaughters and your great-granddaughters, even your daughter, into your closet and let them go shopping one at a time. And then they'll find a dress and they'll be like, I can't believe grandma's wearing this short. This was your dress? This little mini skirt from the 60s? Because remember, grandma was pretty hot in the 60s, right? Like, you got to remember, like grandma was, had some outfits. And so when your granddaughters are pulling this out, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then they say, oh yeah, I wore it on a date with this guy, right? And what? Who is this guy, right? And they start to tell the stories of when grandma was a 19-year-old girl. And they hear these incredible stories. And again, that's what you're always going to hear me preach the stories. It's all about the stories. And when you go through grandma's closet, it used to be a nightmare to sell those clothes. I'd have to just take them all to a consignment shop. Now the grandkids pretty much tear through it and they take most of it because they want the stories of when grandma wore the dresses, when she wore the fur coat. And then they're proud to wear it. They love it.
What is your favorite story from the new show, Filthy Fortunes?
Oh gosh. I'll tell you, from season 1, my favorite story was this guy Michael Evans. He was an artist from LA, And he was a hardcore hoarder, but an incredible artist. And he convinced us that he had a piece of Noah's Ark. And they didn't show this part on the show, but like I was like, "What do you mean no?" He's like, "This is petrified wood from Noah's Ark." And I'm like, "How do you know that?" And he's like, "Well, I know it is." And I said, "Well, there's a flaw in your story, buddy." I go, "If this was from Noah's Ark, you'd have two pieces." And then he out of nowhere, he grabs another piece of the wood, and he goes, "Yeah, I got two pieces. I got two pieces of Noah's Ark." And we all just died. I mean, we lost it. We died laughing. And we found these alligator shoes that were really tacky from the 70s. And I said, "Are these from the alligators on Noah's Ark?" And he's like, "You know it is." And he was just, like, people forget, like, I mean, everybody's got awesome stories. And that's not like an amazing, like, amount of money or anything. We did have some incredible items that were really valuable. But like, for me, it's just the like ridiculous, amazing stories that people tell. I think the coolest item we found was a wine cellar that nobody knew about. And Grandma had been dead for 20 years. Grandma had clearly blocked off this wine cellar with a bookshelf in the garage. And so no one that inherited the house knew there was even a wine cellar. And we cleaned up this entire house. It had been built for 30 some years, since the 85. So it had been almost 28 years when we cleaned it. And we knocked over the last bookshelf in the garage, like the last piece of furniture. We knocked over, and there's a door sitting there. And we open it up. And it's about 200 bottles from the 1970s and early 80s from Napa Valley. And that wine collection is valued well over $300,000 to $400,000. And
I remember this episode.
It was amazing. I mean, from a financial standpoint, but like Grandma knew her stuff, man. Like Grandma bought good wine in the 70s and buried it, not knowing that we would find it. Or maybe she did. We don't know. But granddaughter was just blown away. She couldn't believe it. And it was really fun to just find that, at that, we were so excited for her. We're like, this is going to change her life, and she couldn't believe it. It was really, really cool.
It can be really, from a family standpoint, I moved my mom into assisted living last year and cleaned out her home. So having this experience personally, it is a lot first of all, it was a lot. For more of the Angie Graham podcast, check out our YouTube channel or our website, theangiegrahampodcast.buzzsprout.com. For my mom to give up, and she really struggled. She liked her stuff. She was a stuff kind of gal, and she really liked her stuff, and she had a really hard time letting it go. And she still wanted to be very much in control of who was getting what. There's 7 of us kids. And even though somebody may say, well, I really don't want that, eventually we said to each other, just take it. Just take it. Whatever she gives you, just take it. And if you take it home and whatever you do with it, we will never tell, but just take it. And
so you did the right thing. You absolutely did the right thing there. That is if anyone's listening, that is absolutely, if mom is still alive and she's handing things out, say thank you.
Yes. Because it was so emotional for her to give up the items, and that was her life. She's like, this was my whole life.
It's proof that she existed. It's proof that she existed. Yeah, it's proof that she mattered. It's proof that she was here, and she wants that memory to live on. I mean, I did a study 2 years ago with 100 of my clients, and we found out the number one thing, they were afraid of losing control, and then like not driving anymore, and they were afraid of losing their friends. They were afraid of not making friends, which really surprised me. Like not making new friends when they moved into senior living. And then they were afraid that they would be forgotten, which was, I totally understand that one. I mean, that's my biggest fear. And then more importantly, they were afraid that their parents would be forgotten. Their parents that had passed away sometimes 30, 40, 50 years ago. They were still afraid that like this next, she's like, when I'm gone, there's no one alive that will have known my parents. And I think that's a really crazy, when you take a step back for something, oh my gosh, you're right. I think I'm running out of people. My dad died 25 years ago. I'm running out of his friends. There's not many of them left.
Right.
Absolutely. And it's like, man, you're right. There's just not many people that knew my dad. In none of my current life, nobody knew my dad from that. And the irony is like, I wouldn't be doing I'm doing what I'm doing because my dad passed away when I was a kid. Like my whole career, I mean, I'll have thousands of families a year get help from us. And I mean, hundreds of families have careers. I mean, like I always think, like, because of Clutter Cleaner and my TV show and everything I do, I mean, hundreds of families have Christmas because my dad died and gave me an idea. But yet none of those people ever met my dad or will meet my dad. And I think that's really, it's an interesting concept, but I get how people would be sad about that. And so I think when you're cleaning your house and you're going through it, you got to remember, like, this is a real life person that still has very valid and real thoughts and concerns.
Yeah.
And you have to stop and give them time.
I would say it's really difficult when your loved one is still with you. And she wanted to be there too for some of the process, which really slows it down. But we had to respect her, of what her wishes were. And it took a while to get through it. And at times we would get frustrated and be like, well, let's wrap it up for today, because we knew she couldn't take much more. And it's a whole different thing than when your loved one's already gone and you're just able to go in and make the decisions.
It's so much easier when it's the second generation that's doing the cleaning cleanup. When mom is still there, you have to put really tight constraints around it. One thing that's good about Clutter Cleaner and my business is that we're expensive. And so if we're there, you're paying for us by the hour. And so if grandma's also there, she's not gonna cry for 4 hours if she's paying us $200 an hour. Right? But if it's family, she'll sit there all day. And so it's a little easier when there's paid help there, because you can put a very firm time limit on it. But I think you learned a lot of good lessons when you did this. Like, make it really, really tight. Like, do it in the morning, like 10 to noon. Because in the afternoon, they're more tired. It's more emotional. Like I always say, 10 to noon is no more than 2 hours in the house at a time for the main loved one there. And then you can come in and clean in the afternoon and get it all ready. What I always say is, don't let, we don't like to, when we're involving the client, we don't want them involved in the sorting. We want them in the storytelling. And so we'll pre-sort the whole day before. So like, say I've got grandma there from 10 to noon. Well, then my team is going to sort from 12 to 5 every day. We're going to have everything ready. So when grandma gets there the next day at 10, she's looking at a table full of stuff that I need stories about. And so I'm able to get rid of the 80% of the stuff that doesn't really matter, right? Like the National Geographics, the Time magazines, the encyclopedias. Am I saying all the stuff that you guys went through, right? Like, I mean, the old clothes, like the bag of grandpa's boxer shorts in the garage where she kept because they were good rags. Like, we don't need grandma using her mental energy going through this, because then she'll tell us a 10-minute story about grandpa's used boxers that no one cares about, because we really need her talking about grandpa's fishing rod where it was the car magazines for us, all of the car magazines. And it's trying to explain to her, you can get, but they're just full of beautiful photos of old cars, but you can see all the old cars you want online now. Mom, so like, great example. She's not wrong, by the way. I mean, she's right. But is it really a better use of our time to discuss that? No. And so you never want to bring that story to her. You never want to have to make her make that decision, because this is really about decisions, right? And so you want to have a table of, like, here's a china setting. Here's some of her jewelry. Here's one of her dresses. Here's a picture of someone, like, have 5 or 6 items ready. So when she gets there, she's able to go through those stories pretty quickly. So we really believe in the pre-sorting and getting all the nonsensical decisions out of the way.
Okay, so the pre-sorting is key here. Pre-sort.
Because you
and
want
don't have your loved one involved with every item. You'll be there for a year.
I can tell you right now, pretty much everything in the dining room she doesn't need to see that. I mean, let her see it one last time, but she doesn't need to be involved in the sorting on that. All the magazines, anything print that you can find on Google for free. So, all the pictures, you don't need her going through all the pictures. You're going to pre-sort the pictures. And I should give you, I think I did this last time I was here, but I'll go ahead and tell you the pictures. It's generic landscapes. Like, oh, that's a beach. Well, what beach is it? I don't know. Or for you guys in Wisconsin, oh, well, another lake. Wow, what lake is this? I don't know. There's 1,000 lakes, Or even if it's like, oh, this is a Packers game. Well, which Packers game? I don't know. It's one of either the 70s or 80s. Do we really need that many pictures of Packers game, right? Like, the point is, sort down so you get rid of the generic landscapes, you get rid of the negatives, and you get rid of the doubles. So we all had duplicate prints, right? So you get rid of the doubles, you get rid of the negatives, you get rid of the generic landscapes, and then you get rid of the pictures of people you don't like or you don't know who they are. And if you get rid of all those, you've now got it down to a much more manageable position. So now mom can come in and look at 100 pictures versus 10,000, right? Because if it's 10,000 pictures, mom's never going to go through them. That's too many memories. It's memory overload. So it's really about you and the family, if you're doing it yourself, pre-sorting, get everything down. The National Geographics don't sell. Time magazines don't sell. The old Playboys, sorry, Grandpa, the old Playboys, that's just weird, by the way, and we don't need those. It wasn't weird back then, but it is now, right? And it's just we've aged out of that stuff. Encyclopedias, we can't sell those anymore. You can't even donate them. And a lot of the books, believe it or not, I would shake the books, shake every book, pre-sort them, and leave 10 or 20 books for Grandma to ask about. But donate the rest of the books if you can. It'll be a hard time selling the books, but encyclopedias I can't even sell or donate. So you get rid of all of that stuff, and now you're to a much more realistic a group of items.
What recommendation would you make to a family if their loved one continues to collect in their now little apartment in senior living?
All right, I'm gonna say a very unpopular decision. I don't believe Mom should be in charge of her funds when she moves into senior living. I don't think Mom should have the access to all of the money. If they're hoarding, I should say. If they're still collecting, because you have a finite amount of space in senior living, and you do still have to follow the rules. You can't. When it was your house, you can do what you wanted, right? Most important advice I can give: if Mom is a collector or Dad is a collector, and they're moving into senior living, it's more about getting them involved in the new community. They're hoarding and they're shopping because they're looking for happiness and self-worth somewhere, and it's easier to do it in shopping. They need to find their happiness and self-worth in volunteering. And there's plenty of options at the community for them to do. It's one reason you choose the community you're going to, because there's so much activities. And so I really cannot stress enough how important it is to get them involved before they get settled.
Because I think that's great advice.
Yeah. My mom, I can't even get my mom to come visit. She's so busy. She's coming as much as she can, don't get me wrong. But she's super, super busy. I called the other day. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, we're actually at the beach. She was with a bunch of girls from their senior living community, and one of them had a house, and they got a driver to take them down there, and they were all they've been hanging out for like a week. And she was so busy she didn't even call to tell me she was going. And I was like, this is awesome. What a great problem, right? I can't stress to you how important it is to get them involved, and specifically at the volunteering side. Then you need to put constraints on their ability to consume. And so how do you do that? Well, there's lots of different debit cards, ability to only shop so much. I have a client that we literally got her a new card, TrueLink Financial. We got her a TrueLink Financial card where the kids are able to block out websites. So we were able to block out Amazon. Her card doesn't work on Amazon, and she only has one card, and so she can't shop on Amazon.
It's a great idea too.
It was awesome. I cannot tell you, for her. And she's like, every time, well, my card's not working. Oh, I'll look into that. So what'd you do today? Are you working with the choir? Are you painting? And you redirect to what are the activities that you do? But really cutting down the flow. And then, I'm a minimalist, so I'm biased. I think pick the smaller. The smaller the home, the better. The smaller the room. I can't tell you how many communities I work with around the country where they're like, I got a 3-year wait list for a 2-bedroom. But we got plenty of 1-bedrooms available today. And I tell a lot of families, don't delay the positive living of senior living just so your mom can have more space to fill it with crap that doesn't matter. It blows my mind how many single men and women are waiting for a 2-bedroom when the reality is no one's going to stay in your bed. That's their bedroom. It's just to hold up it's a storage unit for a bunch of junk that nobody wanted. And I don't mean to say it so carelessly, but you can live in a 1-bedroom. You can live very well in a 1-bedroom, and you have such a happier, better life.
Less so stuff, more freedom, right?
More life. Dude, stuff is decisions. I did a class. I do a lot of classes on this. I can't tell you the freedom of life you're going to have when the stuff doesn't hold you back. I converted to minimalism, 6-7 years ago, and I love it. I could disappear in a day if I had to. I was telling someone yesterday, I've been living in a hotel for the last 6 months and traveling around the country working. And I have one big suitcase, and I kind of feel like I have too much stuff, And the reality is I don't need any of the stuff that's in my house. I haven't seen it in 6 months other than my kids and my wife. And that's all I really need, I'm down to 2 pair of pants. I'm down to 5 shirts and a couple pair of shoes. And I'm good. I'm fine. I'm living a really good life right now. Yeah.
The stuff owns you, right? The more stuff you have, the more you just.
And so many people think their life is over when they move to senior living. And I this is so cheesy, but I'll argue your life's just starting. I mean, that next phase of your life is really just starting. And I've seen so many families that were so scared. Like, we moved them in on a Tuesday and they're like thinking their life is over. And then we come back 2 weeks later to pick up some stuff because they brought too much stuff. And they're like, woo, this place is awesome. I went dancing last night and I met this friend and I got a friend here. And I saw a girl that I went to high school with. And like, it's really, and I'm not saying they're like partying. I mean, they're finding out, man, it's not so bad. And then they get really involved and they're like, this place is awesome. Like, it's my home. And it's really cool to see people settle in. And so the part we're not saying here is, believe it or not, for me, if you're moving mom into senior living, and you can't afford to, I think the best thing you can do is move them in first and let them live there for a month and see what they need and don't need, and then clean out the house. If you have to for financial reasons, I get it. But I can't stress how many times people take too much because they think they need all this stuff, specifically the dining room set. Like, let me tell you right now, if you're listening right now and you got to move your parents into senior living in the next 2 years, they will never use their dining room set. They will never use any of it. Don't even pack it. But mom insists. And then what happens is she never even, I mean, that room is wasted space because they're going to the dining hall every day. Like, if you can wait a month and live there first before you decide, like, take what you know you need.
That's very true. My mom insisted. My mom's always been a great cook. It's one of the things she very much took pride in, was always cooking and baking. And she insisted on bringing, we got her to minimize what she brought, but she insisted on bringing a few pans, and she's never used them.
Mm-mm.
Never used them.
That incredible mixing bowl. Yeah.
Now she does have a bread mixing bowl. She just spent the weekend with me, and she carries the mixing bowl around when she visits each of us kids because she makes bread. And so I have to say she is using the bread bowl, and she brings it with and makes the family while she's visiting the weekend, we'll make homemade bread, and we love it. There's nothing like mom's homemade bread.
Yeah. So I'll argue she's creating a legacy list item here, right? Like, everybody's going to want that bread bowl when the time comes, right? And what a dilemma. Whew. Like, who gets the bread bowl, right? But like, that's a great example. You're not getting rid of stuff that you actually use. Like, your mom put her foot down. I'm keeping this, and she uses it, and that's awesome. And she's showing you guys that she was right. So here's a great example, like, for families that are listening. Make sure, it's almost like having a teenage daughter. Like, make sure you're acknowledging with mom, like, hey, I really respect that you still make bread every week. Like, you're creating a memory for many generations. And when she's gone, someone's going to pick that up, and somebody's going to keep making bread, right, in that family. And so, like, focus on these legacies, but acknowledge to your mom or your loved one right now, like, hey, we really appreciate that you're doing it. Like, we really appreciate that you're, go ahead.
It's definitely true. I'm trying to pick up the pie legacy from her, because she was always just a magnificent at making pies and homemade crusts and all of that. And it's a heavy torch to carry, because she's 87, and when we get together for Thanksgiving, she sits and she critiques my pie, like, oh yeah, the crust could be a little this or that, and she's like, but it's right there. You're right there. You're on the right track, she'll say.
And think of the expert advice and education that you're getting right now,
Right. Yeah. And I always tell my husband, I'm like, oh, I'm nervous about bringing the pie. He's like, oh, everybody's going to eat it regardless. I'm like, no, mom's going to eat it. That's what I'm nervous about, is, she is the matriarch, and that was a very important part of her legacy, was those pies. So
you're kind of making my point right now. Like, here's the deal. The making of the pie, the learning to make the pie, all of that is what life is about, right? And that's what we'll remember in the next 20, 30 years. And your kids will remember making pies with you, because you did it with your mom, right? It doesn't matter if you're good or not, Angie. It's the fact that you're passing it down, you're taking the time to do it. What we're not doing is spending 8 hours deciding who gets this pie and this box and this pen and this, that, and this. We're spending the time learning with your mom while she's still here. And that is what life's about.
Right.
So I really, over the last 5 years, as I've spent, really hammered back down into cleaning again. Like, I just can't stress how important it is to just focus on creating those memories while everybody's still here and still actually able to.
That brings me to the legacy. We met you in Vegas a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And took your idea of legacy items or legacy experiences, I think is a better way to put it too. Yep. Those few items that may be tied to that legacy experience. And we brought the legacy experience back to our residents here in assisted living and in memory care. And because of this idea, because of meeting you, we've had residents in hot air balloons, residents that have been in an airplane for the first time, residents that have done just many different, the ideas that they come up with is pretty amazing. What do they want to be remembered for? Many of them, it's not about the item, it's about they want to be with their families, or they want to talk about their past experiences or those memories with families. And we have continued to celebrate that in our organization and have really brought it forward as part of what we do. And people love it.
Can I ask, and I know, you guys took it way far past what I was doing, and I love that. I love that you've done that. And Angie, a lot of that's you. Let's just be blunt. You've encouraged it, and you've created a space where your employees can't do that. And so I really applaud that. But what has it done for recruitment for your employees? What has it done for retainment for your employees? What has it done for awareness for the community?
I think, what was important for us is that it is about our resident experience. We are there for them. One thing we don't always say, but we're in the end of life business, right? We get people when they're in that last chapter. And some of our residents will be with us a couple of years, but our average length of stay is 13 months. So we took a look at it and said, what could we do for our residents if they have 13 months with us? And how can we make it better? How can we reconnect families? It's amazing how many families come in that may be broken. And how can we bring families back together? And some of these, in working with residents, it is about getting siblings back in the same room again, doing something that their loved one is requesting from their families to be a part of. And it is very rewarding to be a part of that. So truly, life is about giving back. And if we can be a part of that, you don't have to advertise near as much. Your advertising budget actually goes down.
Yep.
If you can just provide good services authentically, you're rewarded tenfold. So, we don't use staffing agency. We have employees because they're involved with these things. So yeah, the trickle down effect, it has been huge for our business.
So at Clutter Cleaner, we do the same thing, right? We believe in making a difference and helping people. We say you're here to help people first, make money second. And as the founder and CEO, I push that like aggressively to the point where my CFO hates it. Right? He's like, we got to make money. That's how we make money. I go, I know, but look, I'm telling you, every time you have to make the decision, I tell all my friends, every time you just make the decision, do I want to do what's right for the client or do I have to go make money? I go, always decide what's right for the client. I go, it may lose you money today, but it'll make you money tomorrow and next year. And it really took people a long time to trust it and to believe in it. But I will tell you, like, we finally did a month where I said, every single time I'm hit with that dilemma, is it bottom line or service, bottom line or service, bottom line or service? I always went with service. And I said, do not look at the P&L. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm writing the personal check to fix this, right? Like, I will personally, it'll come out of my cut, right? And I'm the founder, so I'm like, look, at the end of the day, this is what we're going to try. And we tried it, and it was our best month ever financially. And the key was not looking at the numbers, because the minute you look at the numbers, you're like, I don't know, I should do this thing for this lady, but I don't know. But you're right, the publicity increased. We had lower turnover. We had higher enrollment. People wanted to be a part of our team. Better people, better qualified people wanted to be a part. I mean, like, everything, all the intangibles happened. And it was very simply. Yeah.
The revenue follows the experience. So if we can heighten the resident experience, the revenue follows. and it does significantly. We did see a significant bump in our overall revenue when we took on the legacy project.
Yeah. Well, I love it. It was such a great story of how we met. It was really a mistake, and not a mistake, but it was like a happenstance. It just happened. And then when I got to come and meet with your team, it blew me away, the quality. And I think part of that starts from the top down. But what you guys are doing is amazing, and what you're doing on the client, on the experience is just, the resident experience is just incredible. I mean, no one else in the country is doing it.
We had 2 school teachers. They were retired, and they had been at the school they taught at for 30 some years, a very long time. And they wanted to go back to the school. They hadn't been there in years and years. So we arranged a limo to take them to the school. The school organized all the students to be out there with signs welcoming them back. One of them was the librarian. They brought her back to the library, and she was just overwhelmed with it became a project not just for her. These are things the community gets involved with. So all of those students greeting her, and with her walking down the hallway back to the library with the signs of welcome back, and then it was just that experience. It was a great experience for everyone, for the kids, for the teachers that are there now, for her, and something she continues to talk about. So you think you're doing something. The lesson that I learned in it is you think you're doing something for the resident, and really you're doing something for a community, because many times it's the whole community. The community's pitching in some way. The airport story, that was the air instructor at the local airport, and then the news team comes out and tells the story, and so it's the snowball effect of across the board, across communities, and then we put it out there on social media, and all the people that follow it can't wait to see what we're doing next. So it's bigger than we thought. So we took this project, we made it bigger than you thought, and then it has grown legs and got bigger even than we thought. So it's been a great thing. Well, Matt.
Wait a minute. I'm going to stop you.
Okay.
What you guys are doing is incredible. It's incredible. No one else is doing it. And I will tell you, I use the word preach. I go all around the country preaching. And I was at the biggest senior living community conference in the country. And that's where I met you guys. And all other 300 people in the room heard the same words I heard. 299 did not take it home and change how they affected their residents. One person went home and talked to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming she's in the room right now listening. So I'm going to, what y'all did and what you've done with it is extraordinary. And you think of how many lives it's changed, right? Like, it's incredible. Right. I mean, I'm 50 now. I've got a bunch of kids. I'm tired. I'm ready to retire. I know I've got about a 10-year run. And so I made the commitment. I'm saying this out loud. I made the commitment this year that I want to help 1 million families before I retire. And I wiped the slate clean. I said, every family I've helped before doesn't matter, right? Mm-hmm. They matter, but like, they don't count, right? So the clicker started 2 months ago. And so however long it takes me to get 1 million families help, and that includes employees and residents, right? And I thought, gosh, I did the math, and it's like, okay, it's about 10 years. That's what it's going to take me. And so now I'm on a mission to go help 1 million families. And if you remember the Blues Brothers, I'm on a mission from God to help 1 million people, right? And guess what? It's going to happen. Like, it will totally happen. And I put that out in everything I do. And what I love about what you're doing is you are in an industry that is so different. And 299 communities ignored what I said. One did not. And you are going to help thousands of families because you guys didn't ignore it. And now you can't stop, right? You're so addicted to it. You see the difference. And you see how, and I love how, advertising costs are down. Social media posts are up. Awareness is up. I'm sure enrollment's up. I mean, retention is up. Like, all of it. So much positive things, right? I just love it. And it's because you took a chance, right? And so I think that's one thing that has to change in our industry. Is people have to take a chance, and they got to do something that's crazy, because you're proving that it works. I'm proving that it works. And also, if no one else does it, it makes us really special. And I don't have any competitors because no one else is willing to take a chance. And I'm bragging on you guys. I love what you're doing. What you're doing is incredible.
Well, thank you for inspiring us to take it to the next level. You are a part of the idea as well. And my team has done a lot of work. So kudos to them that are on the front lines doing that. Well, Matt, are you going to be on the show next year as well? My yearly guest?
I mean, let's do it. Let's bring it back every year. I've got this. When this airs, we'll be right in the middle of season 2 of Filthy Fortunes. You guys will be watching some pretty amazing.
We can't wait. We can't wait to see it. Well, thank you for everything you've done and everything you can continue to do with others. Where can people find more information about Matt Paxton?
Nowadays, go to cluttercleaner.com. My business, Clutter Cleaner. Go to cluttercleaner.com. You'll learn all about our business and what I'm doing in the world. You can also go to IAmMattPaxton, IAmMattPaxton, either .com or any social media. It's IAmMattPaxton. And you'll see everything we're doing. Follow us on Instagram. Follow me on, honestly, Instagram's probably the best way to get me, or LinkedIn. But all of them are IAmMattPaxton. You'll see where we are around the country. And honestly, we are just helping families start. And if you like what we do and you're interested in buying a franchise, we're actually selling locations all around the country right now. But just if you just want a positive message, just go to IAmMattPaxton and see what we're doing, and go out there. All I can say to people is just listen to the elders. They have the most amazing stories out there. I think people like you and me are blessed to work in a senior living community, because
I agree.
The best stories of our lifetime are in the walls of these communities right now. You think of where they started to where they are now. And they saw everything from first space travel to, as somebody in one of your communities said, she actually saw the first hair curler. I mean, like, you name it, we've seen it.
Invention of the hair curler.
The hair curler. So I stole that story from you guys, just so you know. Like, I use that now on all of my events, and I said, so people listening, Angie taught me, her team taught me this question. What's the most significant invention you've seen in your lifetime? And the answers are unbelievable. And they will, you know what, if you're listening right now and you want to hear what we're doing, go ask someone in your family, what's the coolest invention you've seen in their lifetime? And you will fully understand what we're saying.
Yep, that's true. Well, it was a pleasure having you on the show, as always. And thank you for all the work that you're doing as well. We're on the same team. I am on the same mission too, change 1 million lives. And I'm about the same place you are with retirement too. I'm like, I can't quite do it yet, but I'm in my 50s. I'm ready to slow it down, put on the brakes a little bit. My team's shaking their head. No.
I agree. I know you well enough. You're not retiring. But yeah.
We just keep it pedal to the metal, so to speak. So thank you for joining the Angie Graham podcast. And we all do it for the seniors out there. That's for sure.
We do it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.